So today I'm here with Shanah Warwick, who was selected to create an interactive artwork for the Kids Rockwell Art Lab. And we got creative to find a way that you could interact with her artwork without having to visit the art lab this summer. So thanks for being here. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Shanah Warwick. I'm a local artist, fashion designer, and creative teacher.
And can you tell us about the piece that you were intending to create for the art lab this summer?
The piece that I intended to create for the Kids Rockwell Art Lab was interactive. It was a fiber-based installation. And what that means is that I was designing a piece of art to live in a certain space within the art lab. It was also interactive, which means when kids came to the art lab, they could add and take materials away, and that would change up the whole installation.
That's so cool. And how was that intended to help visitors play and learn?
I think it was intended to help kids play and learn, definitely the interactive part, but the fact that if you live locally, you could come back and see things, how they changed. So you could visit the installation multiple times, and that would help kind of with the learning and also with just seeing how things can be changed by different people.
So you were selected as one of 4 women to create artwork for the Art Lab this summer because in 2020, for the whole year, the Rockwell Museum is focused on the theme of advancing women. And we chose this to respond to the inequality of representation of women in art museums. At most museums in America, in the United States, only about 15% of the artwork is by women artists, and that number is even less, significantly less, if you think about women artists of color. So we're just wanting to kind of balance that out and shout out great women artists through this project. So can you tell us who some of your favorite women artists are?
Absolutely. I was super excited to be chosen for this project especially because of that theme of advancing women. And some of my favorite artists are Cindy Sherman, who takes a lot of self-portraits. So that means she's taking a picture of herself, and she does them by creating and dressing up as different characters. So think like a selfie before they were selfies. So she was using costumes, makeup, wigs, props, different things to kind of get into the character of people that she was representing. I also love Iris von Herpen, who is a fashion designer. That means that she designs clothes. Iris is known for using alternative materials. So instead of just using like the sewing machine and like needles and thread and fabric, she was using different types of materials such as 3D printing, which really got my attention. She creates things that are really moody and almost like theatrical for when she does fashion shows.
Wow, 3D printing for fashion, that's so cool. That's great. So another interesting thing is that the piece that we intended for you to design for the art lab, the installation, invited people to move and interact, and museums are often places where you have to be kind of more quiet and still. So how do you think that that movement and museums can work together?
So I think that movement and museums work together because when we visit a museum, we move through them, we walk through them, and we look at each piece in a curated space that sort of tells a story. Sometimes that story can be really obvious, and sometimes we are asked to kind of make the story up kind of in our heads and like create that narrative as we're walking around. So museum exhibitions can also change. So sometimes there's new art that replaces art that you've seen in the space before. And sometimes even I know that I've visited galleries multiple times, and I'll notice something about the gallery space itself when different pieces of artwork live inside it. So even permanent collections can also move to different parts of the museum.
I like that, thinking about the museum as dynamic, which means that it changes, because sometimes it's not that obvious and you have to kind of pay attention. That's awesome. So if you're watching this video, you may have received a bag with art supplies in it, or you may be tuning in to see what kind of art projects we have available for you to do at home, in which case you can listen to us talk about the materials and pause the video and go get whatever you can find and then come back and follow along. But either way, we're going to go through with you what projects you need and the steps to do our project today, which is called a system of change. And so Shannah, what does this art kit look like, and what are you going to demonstrate for us today?
Yeah. So today, this is the part that I'm most excited about, you guys. Today I'll be demonstrating how to make the project called A System of Change, and I'm going to show you. First, I'm gonna, by the power of video, bring my table to me. All right, so the first thing you want to do is pull out everything that is paper. So you're going to see something that looks like this, Shanah Warwick, and that's something for you to read, for your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, friend, or neighbor to take a look at, and that tells you a little bit more about me. And then you're going to find this sheet that has your instructions. These colored pieces of paper, we can just set them aside for now. And I'm going to ask Kate if she will read the instructions for us as we kind of go along. I'm going to get started and tell you a little bit about this. So a system is a set of things working together as parts. So think, for example, a railroad system or the solar system. In this project, we're going to make an imaginary system. So that means it can be any kind of system that you want. We're going to do this by creating a box-like shape with pipe cleaners. And next you'll add fabric and you'll use the colorful paper to explain how your system would work. Again, as I said, as you follow these instructions, remember that all of the straight lines that you see represented in the images, in the pictures on the paper, represent pipe cleaners. And once you've completed step 3, you can flip it over and then get the rest.
So the very first thing that you're going to do is take out 4 of the longest pipe cleaners in your bag.
All right, 4 of the longest pipe cleaners, so that's these guys.
All right, and you're going to fold those guys in half so they make an L shape.
Okay, so we're going to make an L shape. So that's fold in half, 1.
There you go.
Are we folding all of them?
All 4.
All right, all 4. L. Okay.
Beautiful. So you are going to next lay 2 of them down to form a square and twist the ends of each L together to connect them.
Okay.
The square, because my fingers are different lengths.
So we folded them down, we made the square, and now we're just going to twist them at the corner together. You see how we're just kind of, show you the other one too. We're kind of crossing them and then twisting them together.
Got it.
Okay.
And then you have a square.
A square.
So next, you're going to take one of those remaining L shapes that we made and connect it to one of the corners of that square by twisting the end and then bending it up. So you're actually going to make this next L shape stand up.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go in the same corner where I connected it. I'm going to bring it down a little bit and then bring it back up, twist it around, and we're making it stand up, you said?
Yep.
All right, there we go.
Look at that. Standing. So now if you're following along this is where you'll turn your paper over for step 4. So you're going to connect the other L to the opposite corner, so across from the one that you just did, the same way, and bend that one up as well.
Okay, so we have one here, so the cross from it is right here. So I'm going to do the same thing. Twist it around.
And then connect the ends of those 2 to each other. So the next are short pipe cleaners. So you want to grab 5 short pipe cleaners. Just one for this step though. Then we'll use the rest.
Okay, got all the short ones. Okay.
All right. And that last place where you connected, you're going to use that short pipe cleaner to connect that corner to the corner of our initial square, first square that's laying down.
Okay. So I'm at this corner where I just connected those 2, and I'm at the bottom corner from the first square. Starting to look like a box, Kate.
There you go.
All right.
Walls. It's got a floor.
Oh, it's
looking good.
standing up.
Yeah, we added some support there. So those other short pipe cleaners that you grabbed, you're going to create basically a wall by bending them at the top and connecting them at the bottom. And you're going to leave a little bit of space in between as you connect these. So everybody watch closely. This is
Okay.
easier to figure out by seeing it.
Okay, so it's a little bit higher than the brown one, which is a short one, is a little bit higher than the purple one. And then I'm just folding it down. And then I'm making the brown a little bit longer than the blue on the bottom, and I'm folding that up. And we're leaving space in between.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to add 3 for this one. But you can add
whatever you got.
Yep. All right.
Right. And if you had lots of pipe cleaners, you could probably make another wall in that other square too, right? If you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay. And then if you have other pipe cleaners in your bag too, whether they're short or long, you can add them now to this box however you want. Now it starts to get a little free form now that we've made that kind of structure.
Oh, so I have another long pipe cleaner. So I had the idea that I would twist this one around my finger
Mm-hmm.
and make it kind of like squiggly in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would attach it at the top. What does this look like to you?
Well, it kind of makes me think of pipes, but I don't think those are squiggly. But who knows? Maybe like in a fun house, your plumbing is whirly and your water goes through it like that, whoosh, like you're on a water slide. What do you think it looks like?
Very cool. Yeah, and almost like when you have those swirly straws that you use.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking it almost looked like it had like electricity running through it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like zigzag like that.
Yeah. Which is cool that we can, look at the same thing and see different things. That's what's super fun about this.
Yeah, definitely.
So what else is in your bag that we can add to this now?
Oh, I forgot. We have more things in our bag. We have this colored fabric.
Very cool. Now this fabric is special because Shannah makes those colors on the fabric by herself.
I do. So this is cotton fabric that I have dyed with some special, it's almost like paint, but it's like in a powder form, and we call it fabric dye. So I added the color to these, and that was part of the project. Mm-hmm. And what are we supposed to do with these, Kate?
So you can add the fabric by tying it or weaving it or wrapping it around the pipe cleaner, whatever kind of feels natural and makes sense in your system.
Okay. I think I'm going to tie it here. I'm going to wrap it around and tie it with a short end. This might be something, if you're not good at knots, that you can ask an adult to help you with. Or you could probably just wrap it around and around. So I think that's what I'm going to do over here. I'm just going to bring it across and I'm going to wrap it around and around so it stays. Then I think I'm going to weave it. So weaving is a way to go in front of and then behind. So it's like over, under, over, under. I'm going to go back the other way a little bit.
Fun.
I'll show you from that side so you can see better.
I love the way it looks woven through the pipe cleaners.
And there's more fabric here, so you can do anything that you want with this extra fabric. If you also have extra things from home that you want to add onto it, I think that's okay to add to it too, right, Kate?
It's really fun. And if you can imagine while you're looking at this, we imagined that Shannah would create this big thing in the art lab. So you'd actually be able to go inside of it. So just imagine if you could shrink yourself into an itty bitty little person, you could go in there and hang out among the pipe cleaners and the fabric.
Oh, wow. That would be really cool. Almost like a fort.
Exactly. Yeah. Super fun. So how about that paper that we set aside at the beginning? Do we do anything with that?
We have this paper. So we have all these different colors of paper. And I think that you can really do a couple different things with it. One of the ideas I had, I cut this out earlier for you. I put some arrows on this.
Uh-huh.
So this would kind of show like what would happen, like how things would kind of move through this system. You know, maybe this is a system that creates a new product. So maybe it has to start off as like, I don't know, maybe it starts off as Play-Doh and it has to like move through the system, and this arrow kind of shows how it works, and then it comes out the other end and it's like formed into a person. I don't know. But you can use the paper in any way that you want. I have another piece of paper. This one I wrote start here on it so that you know where things are going to start. That can go over there.
And you can just kind of fold your paper to hook it around the pipe cleaners, so we don't have to use like tape or glue or anything.
Yeah, it's working pretty well. Yeah,
So
I just
cool.
folded it right over the edge of it. And also you have enough paper in there where if you wanted to draw what the whole system was and kind of give like some plans for what the system would do, you could use that and draw and kind of write it all out. Yeah, there's a couple different ways you could use it. I kind of want to keep playing with all these pieces.
I think you should. And while you're doing that, we'll just tell you that the last thing that you'll do when you've done everything with your fabric and your paper and your pipe cleaners is just to give your system a name. So we were saying that you can kind of imagine what it's for and what it does, and then you can kind of show your friends and your family how it works and how you can use it to make things work maybe differently than people expect them to in the world.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea to tell people. I think it might be a really cool idea to also just show it to them and have them imagine what they think it could do and see what they say about it. And maybe you want to even ask your friend, your brother, your sister, whoever lives with you, if they want to add their own things to this so they can change it up and make it different. And then, you know, things can change back. You can kind of move things around however you want to work with your system.
Yeah, one of the really cool things about this project is that because we're not using tape or glue or we're not drawing or anything like that, so all of these pieces you could really take apart and you could remake the whole thing. And we really love this project because we just think it's so cool to imagine the fact that we can change things whenever we want, right? We can make things work differently if they're not working well for us. So that's a fun thing to keep in mind about this project.
Absolutely. It is a system of change.
Brought it back around full circle there.
Yes, we did.
That's awesome. So again, you can play with this however you want. Leave it on your table somewhere in your home. Let your family, whoever's in your house, add to it. And we would love if you do this at home, if you would take some pictures and share it with us. So you can put them on Facebook or on Instagram. You could even email them to me. You can find my email address on the Rockwell Museum's website. And if you share them on Facebook or Instagram, just put the hashtag Rockwell Museum and then we'll see them. And we would love to have a whole, photo gallery of these. Otherwise, make sure you're following the Rockwell Museum on Facebook to see more projects that we're rolling out all summer long. And check out our resources at www.rockwellmuseum.org/kids/museum-from-home. That's your one-stop shopping for all of our art activities and all the other fun things that we're doing to bring the museum to you. So thank you so much, Shannah.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to see what everyone comes up with.
Me too.